Alright YouTube, what is going on? My name is Bigfoot. Welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever White Valley. In today's episode number 49, we're going to go ahead and do an array of different stuff because I have focused a lot on goods as of recent and that is great. However, we need to go ahead and do a lot of TLC around the map and just go ahead and really try and connect up and work in a lot of new areas. That's what I want to do. Then we probably will migrate back to this. As we can see, we are starting to get a lot more demand in a lot of places, which is great to see, though there is still a lot of work to do, so we do still need to go ahead and continue on pushing with our project as well, which is also quite exciting. So as we can see right now, just from this view, it's quite hectic in a lot of places which I've not touched in a severely long time, and that's why I want to go ahead and I really want to just touch on a lot of places which we've neglected, really, because I've been flying around the map and I have made changes in between this and the last episode, mainly just upgrading route capacities, but it's stuff like trams, for example, just so out of date and they really need a bit of work. So we're just going to go ahead and go around a lot of towns we've not touched in ages and just see what we can do. So we're going to start in Telscombe here because, interestingly, the airport is doing really well here, especially up to HB, Hampstead, Bangor, Bottery area, which is good to see. What I do want to do though is I think I want to add either more trams or I want to go ahead and change the trams. Right now I must have already upgraded the trams to 35-seater trams, which isn't bad at all. However, I'm thinking about taking that to the next level. If we filter here by TR, and this is Telscombe, as we can see we've already got a lot of trams, 10 trams on this network to be exact. So what I'm thinking is that we're going to have to do is actually go for the next upgrade, which is all the way up to the Citadis at 48 seats, and that should hopefully clear a lot of the backlog, because the trams that, for example, this has only stopped twice so far on its loop, and it's already on 22 passengers, so I feel this town could really benefit with that upgrade. I'm also tempted to build a second tram line, or maybe try and connect up this part of town a bit better, because I really do feel it is struggling. I'm just having a look as well to see the trains aren't quite full there. I've also done an upgrade on the line which goes from here round to Chorley, because Dereham and Somerton are very much, the train was a bit too overcrowded, which was a real shame. Right, what I do want to do is I do want to add in a tram actually along to this part of town, just to go ahead and connect it up that little bit better. So let's go ahead and select yes and yes here, and let's go ahead and see what upgrading we can do. So I just want a small point-to-point tram, if anything, to be honest, that'll run along there, and then it will come along to, yeah, tell you what, I can come along here, along this road, and then it can use this as a turning circle here. So I'm sort of building, I'm trying not to touch the other tram line too much. I'm trying not to interfere with it, but I think this should be pretty perfect in all honesty, and then we can have a tram stop here. Although it would kind of make sense if we used, no, you know what, it'll work. So let's go ahead and do this and see what we can do. So we're going to have a stop here. Then what we'll also do is we'll have a stop at the bottom of this road here. We'll have a stop here. Problem is, a lot of this is single carriageway, so I do need to watch out, and I do realise I already have made a mistake, and that I need to go ahead and sort of make sure I've gone ahead and done the wrong roads here. If I'm doing single carriageway, I can't have bus lanes, so that's quite important. So let me now go ahead and adjust all of what I've done. I can actually do that. There we go, that's perfect. Continue this along here, so hopefully this will make a small difference anyway to the city and its transport network. I'm not expecting this to be a wildly successful profit-wise tram, because there's already a very successful tram here, but I'm hoping that this will just go ahead and just increase the connectivity percentage. Right now in Telscombe, it's on 63%, which is excellent, but I feel this town could just do with a small extra line, which should help, just gonna help with this part of town, and also possibly future growth as well, which would be nice to see. I'm not going to put on a lot of trams on this route. nor am I going to put expensive trams on this route, so that is very important to note. And it's also not got a lot of stops either, so only 10 in total. So this is TR, this is Telscombe, and there we go. So that's that line created. That is the, I don't know, cyan? It's not cyan. What is that sort of colour like? Sort of a nude colour is what it is, and that is a road depot, not a tram depot, so that is going to cause me some issues. What I think we will actually do is build a new depot somewhere along the way. However, again, I need to go ahead and change that road. Perfect. Right, you know what? We're actually going to send the trams out from here and they'll just get stuck in traffic for a while. What I'm honestly going to do is start off with 4 Mirages, and I think that will do in all honesty. Not a lot. Again, I just want to go ahead and see how things actually work and if they actually make much difference. So we'll come back to this area later on in the episode. Continuing on from that, I want to jump into the town of Somerton because things have changed drastically since the formation of this town. Note one thing is that the town is now over 2 sides of the railway, which is quite exciting, so I think we probably need an extra connection in there, which will be quite important for the people of the town. And we could even put a 3rd one in here quite possibly, which should be good. So with that done now is already a bit better connectivity. Percentage here is at 52%, which could really be much better. And I think we could get rid of some additional stops as well here, because there's way too many along this road, way too many. I'm just thinking how we could go ahead and expand this tram, to be honest. I quite like going up here, but then I'd maybe like to come along here, right round, and then terminate down here maybe, or even maybe cross the train tracks. Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and do that. So again, I'm not going to destroy all the roads like I've previously done. I'm quite happy to go ahead and do a mixture here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and tram up this road here. The thing is, there's no through traffic coming through here, so that's important to note as well, so we can get away with these smaller roads with trams on them. So let's bring a tram line down here, so that'll be one extension. And then what I think I'll do is I think we'll probably do, I mean that's me built over there, so we could always have the tram run along to, I don't know, here, and then have a turning circle. Would that make much sense? I think it would, to be honest. So let me go ahead and do that. Let's jump out of this and let's go ahead and build a new road from there round to there as well, which is perfect. Right, voila. So quite a large change is going to happen here. We're going to go ahead and add in a few new stops, and then we're going to go ahead and get rid of a few stops as we continue on with our tram expansion. So let's add a stop there. Then coming along here, we're not actually going to be serving some of these stops anymore, which is a shame. However, actually we'll leave that stop in there. I like that stop there. Then what we'll do is have another stop here, and then we'll have another stop around there, which is perfect. Let me also go ahead and upgrade that small section there. Right, wonderful. So we can now go ahead and create the change here to the tram in Somerton, and just to put it into context, we currently have 4 active trams, so you can tell, and this is why I've come back to this episode, because it was really, really needed, in all honesty. These towns need the upgrade to go ahead and continue to grow. Okay, so after stop number 5, what we're going to do is we're now going to come up here and loop around, which is fine. Then what we're going to do is after 11, we're no longer going to continue along that direction. So let me get rid of all those stops. So after London Road number 11, we're going to come over to here now, onto Main Road, and then we're going to loop around at South Street. And then what we're going to do is go back the way, which is exciting. And then I'm also going to go ahead and remove a few more stops, and then I'm going to tidy the street up as well. So Albert Road, quite happy with. We'll keep Mill Lane. Then what I think we'll do is we'll get rid of Victoria Road, to be honest. I don't think there's much need for this stop anymore, so we can get rid of Victoria Road. And then we can probably also get rid of this stop here as well, just because it's super close. The reason I'm removing stops is because it just goes ahead and makes the trams much slower when they're doing their routes, so I think it's quite important to go ahead and get that upgrade in when necessary. And then we can go ahead and downgrade this road quite easily, which is good. And then from that, remove the bus stops, and that is that edit done. So again, we'll come back to this later on in the episode and we'll see. I think we'll do one more time because I already feel this is getting quite repetitive, to be honest. We'll leave this road in here because I've got a feeling that could be used in the future, which should be quite exciting. But we've now got 4 trams spanning this route. I'm actually happy to keep the capacity of the tram at 23, but we just need to like double the fleet, I think, in all honesty. So if we do 1, 2, 3, 4, like so, and then go ahead and take the frequency from a whopping 2 minutes, basically, which is incredibly high for a tram. Let's go ahead and... where are we? TR Somerton. I can't see it. There we go. Wonderful. And that's perfect. So that's slashed that time in perfect half, and bringing it back to 60 is much, much better. Hopefully we should actually start to see some use of the tram round here as well. I guess it's new for this part of town, so hopefully again that connectivity will go up from the 53% and go ahead and maybe get into the 60s or 70s. Coming up line here to Durham. Durham is very much in the same boat. As you can see here, the tram route is wildly out of date, so quite happy keeping that area at the top, but we need to go ahead and expand it along to this part of the village as well, that is for sure. So let's go ahead and now do that. What I think we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and, if I can do this, I can do this without destroying the road or any of the buildings on it, which is perfect. So we'll run up to here, then what we'll do is we'll go to bus lane no there, and then we'll have the tram come along here and turn there, which is perfect. Though I still did that as a dual carriageway, so no wonder I lost some buildings there. But that'll work out quite nicely, I think. So I'll have a stop right here on the corner, then we'll have another stop on this straight here. Coming down here we'll have a large stop in there, and that should honestly do for the upgrading, to be honest. Not going to change this too drastically, so this is Durham. And again, yeah, we've only got 4 trams, so obviously these trams were built at the same time. I remember building this whole line actually, and I must have built the line and built a basic tram to go ahead and support the town, so it kind of makes sense. Let's remove stop 2. So then after 7, what's going to happen right now is we're going to call in there at 8. We also need to call in there after stop 1. So then after 9, we're going to call back at the Grove for 10. Then we're going to come along here for 11, 12, 13, back to Mill Road for 14, back to New Road for 15, and then there we go. So that is the modified loop. So it serves town a little bit better. Again, it's still not perfect by any means, but it has gone ahead and hopefully improved stuff. What I will also do is I will go ahead and very quickly remove that stop, and then let's go ahead and downgrade this road while we're at it. I'll let that tram get out the way first of all before I cut its circulation off. Which, there we go, that's perfect, and voila. So I do just need to add more trams onto this, in all honesty. I think that the rate right now, again, the frequency is ridiculously high. I'm not really at all sure. I'm quite tempted to actually upgrade the capacity of tram in this town as well. So what I think I might do is go ahead and upgrade these right now. We're just going to upgrade them to Cobras, so it's not a massive upgrade. Or maybe we could do something a bit different than the Cobras. Yeah, let's go for these trams here. Not really at all sure where they're from. I'm guessing Cologne by the Coolman there. So let's go for that at a capacity of 30, and let's replace now. And then let's go ahead and maybe add on another 1, 2, 3 of those into the town to go ahead and again just bring the frequency back down to about roughly a minute all in all. So TR Durham. And there we go. So that brings the frequency down to 56 seconds, which is pretty ideal what I'm wanting, and hopefully we should start to see a lot of these large queues clear. I never realised how many people were actually waiting at a lot of these stops, so there is a lot of need for increased trams here. So I'm glad I went ahead and actually upgraded the capacity of the trams as well as added more trams on. What I think I might do as well is I think we'll maybe just add one more on for good measure as well. And that works out perfectly. So that is a fleet of 8 now in action in Durham. and that brings it down to 51 seconds. So I should hope that we start to clear this backlog very, very quickly indeed. It's very nice to, I mean, it's not necessarily great to see. This tram is going to fill up straight away, yes, but only from like the first stop. So I guess that's a bit of a downer there. As we can see, we've got all the trams backed up here as well, so it'll take a bit of time for them to space out, but I think that's a very good start to the episode, a good use of 10-15 minutes or so. Again, we can continue on, and we sort of need to in times like Crowland, for example, but we'll do that another time. Okay, so let's jump back to here. There's a lot of goods over here needing to go places. Some to Prince Dobster, some majority to Doncaster actually, which is good to see. And then we've got micro amounts waiting to go to Maidstone, though if I was to play this on ×3, I'm sure the numbers would jump up and down quite a bit more. And saying that, maybe not. I am seeing though, which is good, this train is full, which is bringing stone up to here, so obviously the production rate is going very, very high. Could we go ahead and make that train better, maybe? Because obviously we've got a lot better wagons since we probably actually went ahead and got this train on the go. So that's what I'm thinking. Let me go ahead and jump into here then. So this is the G Maidstone stone, which is quite amusing, and this carries, okay, it has 18 carts all in all. So let me go ahead and have a look here at replacement and see if we can make much of a difference. So locomotive is fine in itself, the class 103, wonderful engine, and I also really like the look of it as well. Stats are on point, just waiting on the game currently unfreezing because it does that sometimes. Right, so we're looking at wagons, then if we filter by freight, this is what we've got. So we could go for something like that, that would be would that be a slight increase? Or is it the same? Is 18 the same? No, are those only 13? Yeah, they're maybe only 13. So if we go ahead and upgrade this to stone, and then, yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of all these wagons here. Old capacity is 234, by the way, which we're about to blow out the water. So if we go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, say 16. Let's do 17. Let's go ahead and replace that now for 19 million. Then all of a sudden this is going to change quite quickly. So I'm quite curious actually to what it's going to come out as. Also, it's really not nice to see this train in the negative actually right now. What I might do is I'm actually going to go ahead and set the replacement on now and downgrade the train's capacity, because evidently it isn't quite filling up right now. So if we go ahead and grab our locomotive, which looks like a variation of the RE 6-6. Wagons wise, let's go ahead and jump in here, filter by freight, grab these, and set these to construction materials, but let's only maybe put like 10 on there, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we put on and replace now, so I'll actually downgrade that train's capacity by, I guess, 4 wagons. So that means then that we should hopefully save a bit of money there, and then hopefully go ahead and maybe not get the route into profit, but it's going to save some money. So now we're up to 306 stone we can carry per train now, which is really, really good. Not much of a difference. I mean, it is. It's about 70, I guess, all in all, so well worth it indeed. We've got a Doncaster train arriving in here, taking 58 construction material down the line, which is good, so I'm happy with this indeed. As we can see, there's a lot already waiting there, and the time the train gets there, it'll be over the 304, which it can carry. Okay, so we started work on Maidstone as well in the last episode, and very much things are looking good. We're supplying a lot of goods, we're getting in just the construction materials right now. I'd like to try and get some more stuff into here though, and how are we going to do that? That is a very good question indeed. So what we need to look at is maybe some more resources in and around the map. I am seeing a few food processing plants here, which is a real shame we have not got a farm. Or am I being silly here? No, I'm not being silly. It's just quite frustrating. There's a lot of stuff which I could really make use of, but unfortunately a lot of the stuff's not really near each other. And until we go ahead and do the mass network, then we're not really going to need too much. What I can do is I've got fuel here, which I like the look of. And we could make plastic and take that over to there. Plastic could be used here with steel or wood. So we have wood there, or we have logs there. Do we have a sawmill nearby? Unfortunately, it doesn't really look like it. We got the 2 oil wells over here. I feel I should really make use of these. But then again, what are we going to make? Are we just going to make fuel? I mean, that wouldn't be a bad thing, to be fair. I really don't think it would be a bad thing. So yeah, let's maybe do that, and let's go ahead and see if we can get a good station connected up for Telscombe. So what I'm actually thinking of doing this good station outside of Telscombe, sort of like the one over at Maidstone, and then we'll just go from there. So let me go ahead and let's grab ourselves a train station, goods train station. We're looking at this one. We're looking at 6 platforms max. Speed with a long distance like so. So I'd quite like to go for something like that there, which is fine. So that would serve the town of Telscombe. Then what I'm thinking of doing from here, this station here, is I want to go ahead and have a bridge which curves quite sharply round here. Like so. Then what I want to do is I want to sort of have a railway line which sort of makes its way through the mountain. Bypasses pretty much this whole town here. Though again, I really do not want I want to try avoid having a bridge or anything like that. So what I need to do is I need to redig this whole tunnel. Let's go back a bit here. Let's go ahead and continue this, but let's go ahead and load it down a little bit. Perfect. Then if we come out here by the airport, that's even better. So we could always have a cargo station up here for the town. That may be a better idea actually, but we'll see how we're doing for space. Then what I want to do is I want to bring this down into here like so. I think that would be perfect. Like that. Yeah, that's really good. So that means then we can get over to this part of the world, which is good. Then what we need to do from here is we need to go ahead and build a line which goes across the way here, which that in itself should be quite easy to do. So I've got that line there. What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to have a station with at least 4 platforms up here. Though this is essentially actually going to be end of the line station because I'm not going to be able to come any further out of here. Do we not have any end of the line stations here? I don't think we do. Oh no, we do. I'm so blind today, honestly, it's crazy. So if we go for 120 plus 200s, that gives us our norm. And then let's go ahead and go for 4 platforms with high speed. So that works out great there. So this is where we're going to have our issues though. It looks like we've got terrain alignment problems, which could cause us many problems. If I go ahead and maybe angle that more into the mountain. Yeah, that works out quite well. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Perfect, so let's do that. So that connects into there really nicely, and let's go ahead and just add a connection into there, which is good. So that is now in sphere of influence of each other. So that means we can get fuel to here. We're going to need an output line, which is going to have to go through the station here. This is actually going to be a big issue because you're losing so much height at once here. So what I'm going to do is I really do not want to build a hideous bridge like that. So I'm going to have to go ahead and do some terraforming at a later stage. Not going to do that now because, well, we can actually just get a tunnel here in all honesty. I mean, that is going down the maximum, isn't it? Right, okay. That's going down the maximum then. Wow, that is crazy. Yeah, so it gets to this stage and I'm going to have to bridge that gap because it looks like we just sort of run off the edge of a cliff here, which is fine, I guess. So that'll be that sorted. So now we just need to actually get crude oil to this location, which that should be relatively easy as well. What we've got is we've got 2 crude oil mines over here. I think we'll just start harvesting from the one for now because there's no need to do it from 2 simultaneously. So let's grab our freight station, let's grab our large station here. I think we'll make 6 platforms just in case, in all honesty. So let's go ahead and align that in there, which is perfect. So now that means we are aiming in the right direction at least. So what I can do is I can have a train which comes, and I want this to go up and over. But again, I also don't want to go ahead and have too much of a issue here. If we raise that up, does that go over that track? It does perfectly, which is good. And then we can have those loop together. Right, so you can probably really imagine now what I'm going to go ahead and do here. But I need to go ahead and do it. So I need to go ahead and build all the tracks and then double everything up. So I'll be back in about, well, 1 second's time. And just like that, that is the track all doubled up and signalled, which is good. So what we're going to need to do here is make at least 3 trains. We're going to need to get the crude oil from Somerton Oil Well up to Somerton Oil Refinery. From here, we're then going to need to get the fuel. We can possibly just do 2 trains actually. We can possibly just feed the fuel initially here into Telscombe. Or what I think we're going to do is actually start off with Maidstone. Now that may sound like, why are you starting to go further? Well, I'm still unsure how I actually want to do Telscombe, and if I want to go ahead and add in a separate station or even siding here to the line. But I think we can go ahead and get started with what we've got, at least for now anyway. So let's go ahead and see what I can do. So what I do want to do is, let's go ahead and grab this track here. Let's go ahead and make ourselves an engine house for the time being. And let's go ahead and see about getting some trains onto the tracks. Let's actually create the routes first before we do anything. So from here, there's going to be a train coming down to here. And this is going to be called G. Somerton. Have I spelt Somerton right? Somerton, not quite Callum, but good attempt. And this is going to be a crude again. Wow. Doing well. Crude and then oil, which is perfect. So that's good there. And then if we go from here, this is actually going to be quite a long train from Somerton North all the way over to here. But this is going to be the G Maidstone fuel, which is perfect. Right, so there we go. So that's the 2 lines already built, so that makes my life a lot easier now. The amount of crude oil we're going to need to get into here is going to be a lot, but I think what we can do is, I think we will start out with 2 trains, even though it's pretty much like a guaranteed heavy loss for a while, until the percentage of all that kicks up. So if we go for one of these, because we are on a hill, freight-wise, we need the largest tankers we can get, which I believe are these modern tankers. I do have others which vary, but I don't think anything gets as high as 15 for that matter. No, we're not seeing anything there. And down here, actually you carry 31. Okay, right, let's go for some of these instead then. So this is going to be carrying crude oil. I think we'll just start with the 1 train then if we're carrying large tankers like these. And say if we get 15 of these, and that'll be 450 you can carry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Which is perfect. So this is the G, this is Somerton, and that is crude oil, so that train can get going. Then if we go ahead and buy another train, it's going to be going round to the town of Maidstone. Now, because we're going to Maidstone, I feel we can go for something a little bit different. We can go for a train with a higher electrical speed, such as probably the Class 103, because this generally is a longer, but it's a flatter route as well, so speed will matter. So let's go for the Class 103 there, just 'cause it's got a bit of better speed. And then we're going to need to go ahead and pretty much just going to go ahead and actually take the exact same train which we had there with regards to the wagons. So we're going to be carrying fuel here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I believe that should be 15. And that's going to go into the G. And it's G Maidstone and it's fuel, which is perfect. So these 2 trains are going to share a short amount of track. for the time being anyway, and then as time goes on we might go ahead and expand that out. But that's a good start there, and I'm very happy with it indeed. What I think we will do is I think we'll maybe try and see if we can pencil in a station here, because I think it would make sense. Plus that is quite far out of town, to be honest. Telscombe Central there, so I'm not overly happy with it in all honesty. There is the room here as well, so I feel we might as well try and take an advantage of it. If it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out, that's fine, but I think we should give it a go. So say we do 6, we do 120 plus 200s, which is perfect. And then if we go ahead and get that in, yeah, that'd fit perfectly. Alright, let me go ahead and now get rid of all this. I realise we're getting a train about to be going on these tracks, but the train will basically just plough through the station, no problem. So what I'm looking to do is something like that there, which is perfect. Then actually I might just add a second train on a lot sooner than I thought actually. Yeah, I think we'll just do that. So let's cut this back a bit more, because evidently I need to. Then let's go ahead and put that into there, which is fine. I think we need to upgrade this train station's track types actually. Please don't destroy the station. Good. And then from there, just coming back at this end. So we do drop a little bit of speed, but that's understandable when you're coming through a station. And then what we can do is we can also have a... I want you to run parallel. But you seem to be lacking in that capability. So say if you run to there, then we can go ahead and do a crossover here like so. Though there's too much slope, that's not an issue though. We can go ahead and do a track in there, and that works out nicely. And then what we can do is we can go ahead and have the trains join the track there, which is perfect. So that looks good. Indeed, and that means now we've also got access to platforms 3 and 4 and with this station. The remaining thing I need to do now is go ahead and actually connect this up to the town and then see what else we can do. So let's go ahead and do 2 roads there and there. And that means now all of a sudden we've got access to Telscombe as well, which is exciting. So let's go ahead and speed this whole game up for the time being. Looking at the town itself, we can see that mainly the residential is off towards the left here. And actually a lot of the commercial and industrial is right in the centre, especially by the station, which is quite interesting. So I can see us wanting 2 different depots here for this town, just because, just the way things are split, to be honest. So what I'm thinking is having quite a central depot round about just outside the station here, over to this side, just to our left. So if we go ahead and rotate this around, I'm thinking something like that in there, though we might go for a small one. If we can. Yeah, let's try for something like that. So that works out there. So that covers that part of town. And then what I think we'll do is we'll also have another one which covers this part of town over here, where the tram is. Yeah, I think that would work there quite nicely. And that cover this part of town. Right, voila, perfect. So that means then the pressure is on over here. What I think we'll do is we will run 2 separate routes over here as well. So if I just go ahead and go for a medium cargo station for now, that means the trucks will also exit out each different side as well. So all I need to do at this current stage is go ahead and get a road depot. We'll stick this in here. That's the first of the fuel train running along, which is doing its inaugural service, which is cool. So let's go into the trucks. Let's go ahead and clear that there. Now what I want to do is go from here over to our good stop here. This is going to be the Telscombe Goods 1. And then let's go ahead and create a second service, which goes from there to there. Both in very similar shades of green, which is fine. And this is going to be the Telscombe Goods, not Foods 2, which is perfect. Right, okay, so with that said, then we can go ahead and get just a few basic trucks to start with. What I'm going to do, because we are importing fuel here, I'm not going to use fuel tankers because I'm expecting all types of cargo to eventually use these routes. So if we go for something like this, that can't carry everything. That's a bit annoying. See, if we go for something like this near enough can carry everything, which will come into the town. I think it'll cover everything except... No, does that truck cover everything? Yep, tools, machinery, yeah it does. So I think that's our best bet. I'm just going to play this safe, to be honest. So if we go back to freight here, and then we go ahead and grab these, that's perfect. Leave that on automatic. So let's get... We're just going to put 2 trucks on each route for now, while things kick off. And then, of course, as the demand increases, we'll go ahead and add in more trucks. It's as simple as that. Right, so that's done now, and that is pretty much it for this episode, to be honest. I just want to go over everything now and see how everything's doing, but this part of the mega project has been added. Hopefully it'll make an impact, and then we're also going to go ahead and run around and review the trams as well. I do actually want to start over here though, because how are things doing in good old Prince Dobster? We're only at 7% food, we're up at 42% construction, 37%, so it's still a bit all over the place, the demand right now, to be honest. Which is a bit disappointing, but we are trying to improve things as we speak. Over here, I feel the production rate is still quite low, which is crazy. I'm not really at all sure why that is. We're at 60% food here, though the construction materials around here is quite low. How's this farm doing? Yeah, it's at maximum production now, which makes sense, but how much of the goods actually goes over to Doncaster? A fair amount. A fair amount, which is good to see. So it's always been a route that's just, I've just not got it quite right, or the demand's not really catched up. As we can see here now, all of a sudden we're requiring to move a lot more stone, which makes sense. Though I really don't justify 2 trains on this track, to be honest. I don't think we'll ever need that. Though we have just upgraded this train to pretty much the maximum it can be, and it can only clear about half of this backlog, not even. So we are going to have to go ahead and double that track up. I'll do that in between this and the next episode, because you don't need to see that. It will also take me like 3 seconds, so it's not going to be the most exciting build. But let's review the trams, the changes we made to the trams. So as we can see in Telscombe, things look like they're going quite well, though we'll tell by the pricing. So we've got our 2 tram routes. You can't really see the new one we built just due to its colour, but if we do TR and we do Telscombe, as we can see, both of them are in the profit very successfully, which is good. Arguably the TR Telscombe, the original, is not actually doing as good as the other, which is quite weird. What I think I will do is I'll add 2 extra trams onto the new route which we added in here, because it seems to be doing quite well, and it seems to have quite a lot of people waiting on trams. And I think just this small increase could really just go ahead and push it up to maybe 200k profit as well, which would be great. So this is the town of Telscombe, and that's perfect, and that brings it down to 53 seconds, which is near enough an optimal time, and I'll put auto replace on that as well, which is cool. So quite happy with the changes. They're making good effect in Telscombe, so I'm happy and relieved about that. With regards to Somerton, I don't see as many people waiting, which kind of worries me a little bit, but we are in the profit. Barely, but we are in the profit, so it's good to see. I've got a feeling that there's certain parts of this which are going to be busier than others. That's understandable. We've got 10 people crossing the lines going into town. We've got 6 coming out. So yeah, okay, I think that is going to be one of these routes which isn't going to be super successful, but I've gone ahead and just connected up much more town, much better now, to be honest. So I'm quite happy with that. Then running up the line to Durham. Looks like we've still got a lot of people waiting on trams up here, but that's probably a positive sign. So Durham, as we can see, with these much larger trams as well, 30-seaters, we are looking at a profit of about 100,000. Though you could really argue that we're still not meeting the demand of the people. But I don't think it's justified going to anything too much larger. What I think we will do is we will actually increase the tram size. I think we're going to go up to the 35-seater ones. So that's adding 5 seats on each tram, which isn't that bad at all. And then that should hopefully go ahead and make some sort of difference across the town. So we've added in an extra... How many trams do we have? 8. So we've added an extra 40 seats onto the trams all of a sudden. So hopefully that should clear a bit of the backlog and just continue to see that town succeed. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this episode, so I hope you have enjoyed it. Please leave a like, rate and subscribe if you are new around here. In the next episode, we've got so much to do. If you just look at this, there's so much to do, but we are very slowly but surely getting places, which I'm quite happy with. Anyway, that's all, so thank you very much for watching. My name is Bigfoot, and I'm out.